Our theme for this year is a wealth of opportunity, employee ownership fuels growth. You'll have an opportunity here today to really experience that. You'll hear more from two very different companies that have grown in tremendous ways, two different employee-owned companies who have a very different experience but have really engaged employee ownership as the core of their business in moving forward. Their stories, like many of the other employee-owned companies that are here today, are borne out in a lot of the employee-owned studies. In comparison to non-ESOP companies, ESOP companies have a participation culture, have 12% higher wages, excuse me, 2.5 times greater retirement accounts, 4.5% higher productivity, and 2.7% improvement after they become ESOP companies in their operations. And that's very significant for both the company and the employee owners themselves. Just think what that can mean to build up their own personal retirement over the period of time. We have, as Kathleen mentioned, we have a thriving employee ownership community here in Ohio. The Ohio Center has helped over 100 companies to become employee-owned. That represents some 15,000 plus employees. We're actually going to complete our next study this year, so hopefully we can notch that up a little bit more of a tick and say it's over 16,000 employees. Our statistics are a little dated. But the employee ownership share of those companies represents over $300 million of personal wealth that those employees have, which is just tremendous. The growth in employee-owned companies, though, just doesn't magically happen when the employees become owners. The employee-owned businesses, just like any other business, have to really prepare. They have to do a lot of careful planning, staffing, engaging the employees, and properly executing their operating plans to become successful. With all the vast resources in the room today, all the professional service providers, all the other employee-owned company leaders that are resources, plus all the sessions that you'll hear from today, anybody who's looking at becoming employee-owned, or if you're employee-owned and really want to leverage your success, the resources are here today. So tap those resources. The conference of this type doesn't become successful on our own. We really appreciate everything that all the other supporters of ours help out with. We appreciate the professional firms who provide us through sponsorship. Our sponsors are listed on our banner up here, and the other folks out back who have booths, but help us in tremendous ways to really make this conference successful, provide great content, and still keep it at a reasonable cost for those who are participating. I'd like to actually highlight those sponsors for everyone so you know who's in the room. Our gold sponsor, our highest level sponsorship program that we have Apple Growth Partners, so if those from Apple Growth can stand, be recognized. And Crow Horwath, there should be a whole crew from there here. I guess they're in the back. I think they usually send about half dozen or more. Our silver level sponsorship, McDonald Hopkins. Mankey, I know someone from Mankey is in the room. I'd also like to comment that Mankey is sponsoring the coffee break this afternoon, so that'll be very much appreciated. And SES Advisors, they're in the room as well. Our bronze level sponsors, we have many of those. Blue Ridge ESOP Associates. They must be the folks from the West Coast coming in, so they're running a little late. Comstock Advisors. I know Lori's here. 0 for 2. Casaro and Associates. I just realized they're all sitting out at their table out in the lobby, so when we get done, we'll give them a big round of applause. Dinsmore, ESOP Plus. Fiduciary Trust Services. Tom Potts was unable to make it. He had a family medical health issue, but Tom is actually sponsoring the pen, so Fiduciary Services is here very much if they can't be here physically. GPQ Consultants. I know Brian's here. There's others. InHealth Mutual. There's Jesse, Jim. Jackson Lewis, they're right up front. Maloney Novotny. Shoemaker Loop. There's it. Van Olsen Law Firm. And the Exit Planning Institute. Let's give a big round of applause for all of our sponsors. In fact, check out their booths either in the room or outside, and as well, the ads that they have in our programs, because that can guide you to any of the services that you'll need. And of course, we'd like to thank Carl Warnke and the Davy Tree Expert Company for the cups and gifts at your table. I think it's good they allow us to have something to drink our coffee with in the morning and read about how we can take better care of our trees. Yeah. So thank you. We have a couple of keynote speakers, one this morning we'll hear from in a little bit, and one this afternoon. We have 18 breakout sessions. A wide variety of topics will be covered, and as well we'll be screening the movie We the Owners at our last session this afternoon. Those speakers who will be talking today are from ESOP companies, worker-owned cooperatives, economic development organizations, professional service providers, legislative folks, a whole wide range of folks in the crowd who bring a very different perspective to employee ownership. So they have a good breadth of wealth for us to learn from. The conference will be a success, largely due to these programs that the folks are putting on. And they are doing this on a voluntary basis. So let's give them a round of applause this morning. Before they put on their sessions, we know they will provide great sessions for us this afternoon. I want to call right now your attention to the conference programs, a couple items. The hotel map is on page 5. So when you're looking for your room, you can ask any one of the staffers, but the hotel map will provide you guidance. Please make sure to fill out the surveys as you go through those sessions. Turn them in. We look at that and we really try to drive the content of what's the most value for the folks in attendance. So please make sure to fill those out and turn those in. As usual, we can't quite hold everything here. The sharing economy theme presentation will be held at the DoubleTree next door in the Chestnut Room. So if you're going to that session and this afternoon session on worker co-ops, you'll go out the front door, turn right, and enter into the DoubleTree. And there should be signs there to properly address you. There are a few program changes in the addendum that's inserted. We'll guide you through those. I'd like to go ahead at this time and introduce our staff. Chris Cooper, if he's in the room. Chris Cooper is our jack of all trades, our tech guy, our guy who we go to do a lot of our presentations. He's had a great input directing the content that we have here in a large portion of those programs today. And he's really been a great asset in putting this program together in all of our sessions. So when we get done through all the introductions of the staff, then we'll give them a round of applause. Kelly Fitz, who greeted you this morning as you came in, she's our office administrator. She's really the center of communications. If you would have registered, you probably would have worked with Kelly in making those work, getting your rooms lined up, and getting the food and refreshments taken care of for you. Felicia Wetzig, she's out there as well. Since Kelly has done the rare appearance to come in the crowd, we can all give her a round of applause. Bob Cohen, he's our program coordinator in the cooperative development area. He's a seasoned pro. He's got a great background in that. If you have questions on the cooperative side, Bob's one person you want to talk to. Jackie Yates, who's in the crowd. She's a retired political science professor at Kent State, but she's coming back to help us out. She's going to be working on that longitudinal study that I mentioned earlier. She'll help us with other programs as well. There's a few older, I wouldn't want to say older, but a few familiar faces in the crowd. One off to my right, Bill McIntyre. He retired, but he just can't go away. And we're happy to have him back. So, Bill. And as well, I know back there somewhere, Steve Clem, who is a longtime staffer. Steve can raise his hand. He's back helping us out today. I think he's trying to get away from the grandkids for a day or two. So. I'd like to introduce the guest at our head table. You've already met Representative Clyde as well. You've met Bill McIntyre. Carl Warnke, who's with Davy Tree, will be our keynote speaker. George Brown with Senator Portman's office. The invisible chair. So, unfortunately, I'm not sure. We haven't heard back from George, but he's supposed to be here this morning. Sarah Lowry with Senator Sherrod Brown's office. Rick Rebideau, Akron Chamber, Greater Akron Chamber. Last but not least, George Cheney, who is a professor in communications at Kent State. George joined Kent State a few years back. Even though he's not officially with our organization, he's our unofficial member. George has been very engaged in our project. George is a noted expert on Mondragon cooperatives. He's done a lot of studies about cooperative and employee ownership around the world. George has actually even gone the extra step with us to be engaged in some of our projects in the state and out of the state. I've had the pleasure of presenting on panels with George. George has also provided some guidance for me. I like to tell people I'm a banker. A lot of years in banking. I got out of the banking realm because I thought it was a little bit bureaucratic. Nobody informed me how bureaucratic universities are. They take it to a whole new level, and George has been strength to help me through that. So, but George is actually he's looking to go to his next stage of life after he moves on at the end of this term next month, and we really want to show some appreciation for George. So I'll spring something on him. He doesn't have to say a whole lot, but we just want to have a little token of appreciation from our staff for all that he's done for us. I got Bill last year, so if I ask you to sit at the head table next year, beware. Within smaller groups that we deal with, we like to make in-person introductions, but with well over 300 people, that's going to be a little hard to do today. So the next best thing is we'd like to give you a representation who's in the crowd. We'll start out with the service providers. We have a wide range of service providers to help you through, guide you through what you need to do, and we actually have 55 professional service provider members in the crowd today, which I think is the most we've had. So we're very excited about that. They provide legal and accounting services for ESOPs and co-ops, valuation advisors, bankers, investment bankers, fiduciary advisors, financial analysts, organizational development and culture specialist, trustee work, anything you could think of, they provide it for you. So what I'd like to do is go through, I'll try to be rather quick with this, I'll announce the service providers if you would stand, and then we'll hold our applause till the end. Apple Growth Partner, Barnes & Thornburg, Barnes Wendling Valuation Services, BCG and Company. Oh, they're slowly getting there. Okay. Blue Ridge ESOP Associates, Bober Markey, Bruner Cox, BTC ESOP Services, Bankers Trust, Business Valuations, Capital Advisors, Kavich, Familo and Durkin, Chase, Comstock, Crisaro and Associates, Curl Horwath, Deborah Olson, attorney at law, Dinsmore and Scholl, EdgePoint Capital Advisors, Empire Valuation Consultants, ESOP Economics, ESOP Plus, Fiduciary Trust Services, Fifth Third Bank, First Bankers Trust Service, GBQ Consulting, Great Bank Trust Company, Highland Consulting and Associates, the Hoffman Group, Horizon Trust and Investment Management, InHealth Mutual, Jackson Lewis, James E. Arnold and Associates. You guys could stand up even though you're in the front from Jackson Lewis. You can't see behind you to see who's standing in that. Lazier Capital, James E. Arnold and Associates, Maloney Novotny, Mass Mutual, McDonald Hopkins, Menke and Associates, Mills Podizak, Morgan Lewis, Ownership Thinking, Porter Wright, Prairie Capital Advisors, Principal Financial Group, ProfitWorks, SES Advisors, Shoemaker Loop, Stout Races Ross, Tri-State Capital Bank, Thompson Hine, UBS Financial Services, Van Olson Law, Verit Advisors, Waldherger and Cohn. I should have had my water open, getting a little tongue-tied. Workplace Development, and Zarbowski and Associates. Let's give a big round of applause for all our professional service providers. The next group that I'd like to announce is all of our employee-owned companies that are in attendance today. We have 56 employee-owned companies, and I think that's just a great testament to the work that's done here in Ohio. I'll start out with those, and if you would stand as well, and then we'll hold our applause till the end. ACRT Inc., Alloy Engineering, Bardens and Oliver, Blue Ridge ESOP Associates. Yes, we do have some service providers that are ESOPs as well, a couple of them. Bostwick Braun Company, Buckeye Corrugated, Burke Inc., CareStar, Cincinnati Union Cooperative Initiative, Columbia Chemical Company, the Davy Tree Expert Company, Delta Systems, Diversified Industrial Capital Group, Duramax Marine, EBO Group, Elis Company, Equipment Merchants International, Equity Engineering Group, Falcon Industries, Fastener Industries, GBS Corporation, Hawley Consultant Group, Harmony Coffee Roasters, Jet Rubber Company, Jones Hamilton, Joy Cone Company, Manaline Corporation, Martindale Electric Company, MBC Ventures, Menke and Associates, the Mosier Group, New Belgium Brewing Company. Actually, we'll have a speaker from their group this afternoon. Looking forward to that. O.E. Meyer Company, Opportunities for a Positive Growth, Organ Supply Company, Original Mattress Factory, Oswald Companies, Palmer Donovan Manufacturing, Patty Cake Bakery, Paul J. Ford and Company, Penn United Technologies, Perry Protech, Prairie Capital Advisors, Pranky Romick Company, Project and Construction Services, Ruther Mold, Richard L. Bowen and Associates, Robin Industry, The Rulin Company, Sealand Chemical Company, Troyer Foods, Velicor Environmental, Vistula Management Company, the Voto Manufacturing Sales Company, Wilbert Company, and Yoder Industries. This conference is really designed for these companies and those who want to, who esteem to become these type of companies, to learn more and go out and do great things. Let's hear it for all of our employee-owned companies. Other folks in the crowd that are here, obviously not everybody stood up, but we have a lot of people from either the federal or state level, nonprofits, religious organizations, educational institutions, chambers of commerce, a pretty wide smattering, if you will, of folks represented in the crowd. So if you have questions, make sure as you go out today, as you see people, engage them. Get your questions answered today as you can. We also have about a half dozen companies that are pursuing the idea of employee ownership. They're here to learn from all those in the crowd. So if they would like to stand, we'll give them the opportunity. But they're the folks in the crowd who, this is really a great learning opportunity for them. So anybody who's thinking about becoming an employee-owned, you're not there yet, please stand if you will. And my advice is use the resources. Talk to all the employee-owned companies. A lot of these companies have gone through what you are experiencing. I had the comment this morning that there's a lot of wrinkles. I think wrinkles are part of the ESOP world. So, talk to those folks. Learn how to navigate those wrinkles if you can. Ask them tough questions. They'll be happy to help you. Either that or they'll call me names. So, we'll see what they do. But we're very happy to have everybody here today, and we'd like to give you a quick overview of what our conference, what we're trying to touch. We're looking at, basic employee education. There's sessions on culture, administering your plan. Those are always issues. There's some very technical, ESOP technical sessions that we have this morning for you. And we have one for the retiring owners that are looking at transitioning to an ESOP this morning, and one this afternoon if you're looking to transition to employee-owned co-op or a worker co-op. And with that, I'd like to move on to the next portion of our session this morning.